Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream. You know, I never thought this game would actually come out. Feels like just yesterday everyone was under mass hysteria predicting its announcement on every single Nintendo Direct. Finally seeing it properly announced, it definitely came as a surprise. I wanted to wait a little before making a video on this game, since I wanted to let my thoughts really develop. Something I was worried about initially was that I'd run out of content after a few days, and, well, I mean, we'll get to that. In case you didn't know, Tomodachi Life is a life sim game where you take care of an island of Miis, which are Nintendo's stupid little avatar things that just won't die. This is actually the third installment in the series, which started way back on the original DS. I grew up on the 3DS version, played the ever-living hell out of it, so I have a pretty good idea on what I was getting myself into with this one. That being said, Living the Dream still managed to surprise me in some really fun ways, and some not so fun.
Dio is a kind-hearted 100-year-old man.
First thing I want to say is, God, does this game feel alive! One problem I always had with the 3DS game was that your Miis were often secluded in their own little rooms. They'd interact with others on occasion, but not to an especially frequent or deep extent. And of course, you'd have no way to provoke interactions yourself. Now, this wasn't entirely a negative. The whole point of Tomodachi Life as a series is that it gives you a glimpse of these virtual lives without it basically being you playing with dolls. That lack of interactivity was definitely intentional to make the Miis feel more like independent living things. Living the Dream's answer to this dilemma was to meet in the middle in a way. Miis can now freely explore the outside of the island, and you can even drag them around and provoke interactions directly. Where this keeps the spirit of the older games, though, is what those interactions actually consist of is entirely out of your hands. You never really know how two Miis get along with each other, so you're never quite playing God. If you've heard anything about this game though, it's probably just how absurdly customizable everything is. Obviously there's the Miis, which already have a robust amount of customization options up to now, especially in titles like Miitopia with its makeup feature. While Living the Dream's face paint feature is technically not as in-depth as Miitopia's, it more than makes up for it in my opinion with the revamped based Mii options. They've added a metric ton of new facial features, hairstyles, colors, and even adjustable sub-features like eyelashes and even brow ridges. The end result is that you really don't need face paint for the vast majority of Miis unless you're making something like super exotic. The hairstyles especially I think were a great addition. There's just so much variety, and unlike Miitopia, more complicated hairstyles aren't just nuked whenever you put on a hat. I also heard a lot of positive feedback in regards to the variety of black hairstyles they did this time around. Admittedly, that's something the regular Mii maker's never been great at, but it's not just the face and hair you get to customize on a Mii. Just like the last games, you get to define their personality too, but with a little bit of a twist this time. When they level up, you can give them little quirks to make them more unique, defining how they walk, stand, and react to the world around them. As the game goes on, you can also influence their vocabulary by giving them expressions to say. In the 3DS game, this amounted to like a catchphrase or something they would say when feeling a certain way. This has since been expanded to giving them things to say when they start or end sentences, and even how they refer to other Miis. Give them like their own personal nicknames. A personal favorite of mine is the new Island Lingo feature they introduced, where Miis sometimes prompt you for things you have an opinion on, and your answers are permanently saved as a piece of lingo. Miis sometimes insert into sentences Mad Lib style. I've heard some people say this feature gets old quick, but I think it really comes down to what kinds of answers you provide. Me personally, I don't try to force a funny answer every time. Sometimes the funniest uses come from an answer just working unexpectedly well in context. Of course, when you think customization in Living the Dream, there's something that comes to mind before Island Lingo. More specifically, the kinds of things you can make at the new palette house. Remember the face paint? Yeah, it turns out you can just use it to make about fucking anything you want. Food items, custom housing and wallpapers, random trinkets to give to your Miis or pepper around the island. Run wild is genuinely limitless as long as you're patient enough. Oh, did I mention the island itself is customizable? If you're like me and grew up with games like Minecraft or Little Big Planet, you're gonna get a lot out of this game.
Luigi, I just want to touch you.
Alright, enough singing this game's praises for a while. I wanna be mean! There's a few design decisions in this game I'm not too crazy about, and I feel like they merit discussion. First up, I should probably address the elephant in the room. 70 Miis. That's all you get. That kinda sucks if I'm honest. Not only is it lower than the 3DS version released well over 10 years ago, it's also just unnecessarily kneecapping on a game where customization is king. Nintendo's officially stated a reason for this limitation is to ensure good performance on Switch 1. As a Switch 1 player, I probably shouldn't be looking a gift horse in the mouth on this, since having this limitation is better than having to fork over $700 to play this game I've been waiting eons for. But if I want my game to lag to high hell because I have 200 Miis all on the same island, then that's my choice to make. This also makes the whole idea of raising Mii babies kind of annoying, since you need to keep your Mii count in the mid-60s to even make room for them. Unideal, I know. Also, I feel like there should be a smarter solution to this problem, especially since this game isn't exactly visually impressive. Actually, that's something else I wanted to talk about. The other games had this surreal mix of more realistic textures with these simple characters that really made it stand out in your mind. Initially, I was more on board with the more simple visuals, since I figured it was in the service of making your custom creations fit in more. Now, I don't know if I'm so sure, since I think them also sticking out would add to that unique surrealness in an interesting way. It feels like a missed opportunity to steer away from it. Speaking of missed opportunities, something I was really hoping they'd expand on is the relationship tester and ranking boards from the 3DS version. While it wasn't an entirely superfluous feature, it made every new me feel that much more special if you engaged with them. Kind of like this long initiation ritual you had to do every time. So to see that feature entirely ripped out is kind of upsetting, especially with the me limit I mentioned earlier. Oh, also they cut the concert hall, I guess. I know it's an iconic feature and all, but I genuinely never interacted with it that much because of how songs were handled. It would be cool if they had some revamped take on how it works this time around, but I'm not terribly upset that it's gone, if I'm honest. One last thing, everyone and their moms talked about the inability to share memes with other players, and while that does suck, what sucks more to me is that I can't send photos and videos of this game to my phone for whatever reason. This is a conscious decision they had to make on a game built around strange and funny interactions that makes for like perfect sharing material. Why the fuck would they do this? I genuinely need modding tools or a capture card to get these out of my Switch. Whose fucking idea was this? I need names! Overall, I think it seems pretty tight. While I may have binged the shit out of it earlier on, it definitely works best as something you experience a little of every day, rather than something to grind. And while there are some things I'm not the biggest fan of, I don't regret my time spent with this game at all. If anything I've said makes you interested and it sounds like you'd like this game, go for it. Though if you're unsure this is the right fit for you, or if you're someone not too big on making your own fun, you should probably stay away from this game. Closing thoughts? Nintendo, let me make a custom floor that isn't a repeating pattern, and my life is yours. Please! You don't understand how annoying this is to me. I put it down, and it fucking breaks because it's...